Learning to process your emotions in a healthy way is the road that leads to connection with and compassion for yourself and others. Why is it important to feel your emotions? First of all, emotions are messages your body sends you about how life is going in terms of your circumstances, relationships, and mood. Imagine you're feeling anxious about going to a doctor's appointment that's 2 weeks away. Every time you think about that doctor's appointment, you start to feel the anxiety building in you. Naturally, you would want the anxious feelings to go away. You might call a friend to help calm yourself down or immediately do some deep breathing exercises in hopes to quickly get rid of that anxious feeling. The problem with pushing away the feelings of anxiety is that you're teaching your body that it is not okay to feel anxious. You're telling yourself that it's not safe to feel anxious. In addition, the anxious feelings will only come back the next time the doctor's appointment comes to mind. But this time, you won't just feel anxious. You might feel anxious about feeling anxious. Can you see how the emotions continue to build up as you choose to push them away rather than feeling them? Another example of this is if you felt sad about a hurtful comment someone made about you. If you choose to distract yourself by mindlessly scrolling through Facebook or by picking up a can of beer, those only push away the feelings of sadness. When the sadness comes back, you will probably feel sad in addition to other emotions like anxious and ashamed. This is why it's worth listening to what your emotions have to tell you the first time, even if it's painful, scary, or annoying. Now that you know why it's important to process emotions, how do you do it? Number 1, recognize that you're feeling an emotion. What do emotions feel like? In order to be able to sit with your emotions, you need to be able to recognize that they exist. If you are constantly keeping your mind busy during your alone time, you might not even recognize that you are feeling emotions. This is because there are a lot of emotion numbing activities that include, but are not limited to, frequently scrolling through social media, binge watching Netflix, excessively drinking, regularly using drugs, or compulsively spending money. Give yourself quiet time each day where you can turn inward and see what your body is telling you. Number 2, identify the emotion that you're feeling. When I started going to individual therapy, my therapist asked me the question, what does it feel like when you feel angry? I thought to myself for a second and then I got a puzzled look on my face. I said that I honestly didn't know. I realized after that therapy session that it had probably been 10 years since I'd allowed my body to really feel anger. After a lot of contemplation, I realized that I had consistently pushed away feelings of anger and then processed them by crying and thinking negative thoughts about myself rather than sitting with the uncomfortable feeling of anger and processing the emotion in a healthy way. Now I know that for me, when I feel anger, my cheeks feel hot. I can feel my blood coursing through my veins, my eyebrows furrow, and my arm muscles tighten. It is very important to know the cues that your body gives you when you are feeling an emotion so you can process your emotions in healthy ways. When you have time, I highly recommend writing down the main emotions that you feel and identifying the accompanying symptoms. 6 of the main emotions that humans experience are happiness, sadness, anger, fear, disgust, and surprise. Think to yourself, how do I feel when I feel sad? How do I feel when I feel fear? How do I feel when I feel disgusted? Number 3, validate your emotions. Once you have identified the cues your body gives you when you feel an emotion, you can validate that emotion. What are some examples of how you can validate your emotions? One example is if you're feeling sad that a friend canceled on you, you could think to yourself, it's okay to feel sad. I was really looking forward to seeing my friend. Another example is if you're feeling anxious about going to your first day of work at a new job. You could think to yourself, it makes sense why I feel anxious today. I would really like to do well on my first day. Another example is if you're feeling fearful about an upcoming test you have. You could say to yourself, it is normal to feel fearful with an upcoming test. I want to make sure that I'm prepared to do my very best. By choosing to validate your emotions, while withholding judgment, you are normalizing the physical sensations that you experience. It is okay to feel your emotions. They are not dangerous. They will not hurt you. You are safe. Feeling emotions is a normal process. You do not need to push away your emotions. You are telling yourself that you are a human. Feeling emotions is a human experience, which means that you are alive. Number 4, sit with the emotion instead of pushing it away. Sitting with your emotions means that you are not trying to distract yourself from the physical sensations you're feeling and the thoughts that you're having about the emotion. Like I said before, this means that hours of Netflix and shots of alcoholic beverages are not good ideas while you're feeling strong emotions. One of my favorite ways I sit with my emotions is by journaling. I like to write down unfiltered thoughts that come to my mind as I feel the physical sensations of the emotion. This allows me to take the subconscious thoughts that I'm having and bring them to my conscious mind. This helps me to better understand why I'm experiencing a specific emotion. I write and write and write until I have written down all of the thoughts that are on my mind. Sometimes I make incredible realizations, or I'm able to put some pieces together about why I'm feeling an emotion or what I can actively do about my situation. Another way I sit with my emotions is by meditating. Even just doing a 10-minute meditation can be very beneficial. As I attempt to clear my mind and focus on my breath, thoughts will inevitably come to my mind. I sometimes notice patterns or gain new insights about my situation. It also might make it easier to let go of the emotion after it's done telling me its message. Feeling your emotions isn't just helpful with negative emotions, it is very beneficial with positive emotions as well. When we feel happy and validate that emotion, for example, we allow ourselves to feel happy more deeply and to truly enjoy the physical sensations that come along with that emotion. Number 5, show yourself compassion. After you've allowed yourself time to sit with your emotions, it's time to show yourself compassion. What is self-compassion? Compassion is when you are able to recognize that you are suffering and you choose to comfort and support yourself rather than judging or criticizing your feelings. You are able to recognize that you are only human and that getting rid of your emotions is not the goal. You can recognize that feeling, showing, and expressing your emotions does not make you any less of a person. It doesn't make you any less worthy. Learning to process your emotions in a healthy way is the road that leads to connection with and compassion for yourself and others. Again, what are the steps to process your emotions? Number 1, recognize that you're feeling an emotion. Number 2, identify the emotion that you're feeling. Number 3, validate your emotion. Number 4, sit with the emotion instead of pushing it away. And 5, show yourself compassion. I encourage you to try this process and let me know your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Emotional Stability.